Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with me today Vinod Muthukrishnan, who's the Vice President and General Manager of Webex Customer Experience at Cisco. Vinod, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So, you know what? I'm so glad that we were able to have this talk because, it's nonstop discussion today about agentic AI, about observability, about security. But CX is ultimately the goal of almost everybody that buys or uses or somehow is connected with the Cisco or Webex product. So I'm very happy that we're able to have your perspective. And maybe, as we start off, just wonder if you could just give us a little bit of flavor about, your reaction to some of the developments here at Cisco Live and what Webex's participation, because Webex is very close to the customer. A lot of people experience Cisco somewhere in the network, and we do business in a way with Cisco every day, even if you don't know it. But Webex is a little bit more connected to the customer.
So I think a couple of things. As you've seen in the age of AI, the network is probably the most critical enabler of any AI deployment. But when we speak of customer-facing applications, just imagine what conversational AI does. An autonomous agent accesses your corporate public PII or whatever confidential information. It acts autonomously, and then it communicates with external entities, customers, partners, what have you. So if you just sequence the three together, you can realize that the threat surface is potentially infinite. And that's why a lot of people look at AI as a frontier model or a sort of a front-end application opportunity or a problem. For me, it's an infrastructure game, wherein your ability to observe this infrastructure, secure it, manage it, and respond to threats at machine scale and speed determine the success of your CX applications finally. So I almost think it's inconceivable to be a CX AI applications company if you're not a full-time observability and a security company. So that's why for us, even though that might not seem perceptible, the customer-facing applications in Webex are very, very tightly tethered to our observability and our security portfolio. That, funny enough, makes us incredibly unique in the space.
So, Cisco's talking a lot about connected intelligence, and they're connecting connected intelligence to customer experience, to CX. What does that mean in practical terms for a contact center trying to improve service without adding more complexity?
So for us, connected intelligence essentially is to recognize that AI has gone from being a toy to a tool to a digital coworker in like 2-3 years, right? 3 years ago, if you remember, at the GPT moment, we were writing poems with it. That's the best we were doing. And today it's a digital sort of coworker, an equal participant in the contact center. And interestingly enough, if you just look at the contact center spectrum, your dialer or your caller or the one coming in may not be human either anymore, right? So you got to think of a world where obviously humans engage with humans, which is the highest order of work. Humans are already working with AI, where sometimes you get a virtual agent or what have you. But the most important part of connected intelligence is AI working with AI autonomously over an extended period of time to deliver outcomes and get work done 7/24, 365. And how do you build a platform that manages all these three modalities in one open, secure, and seamlessly integratable platform? To us, that is connected intelligence. And really, that is why I think in CX, more than almost any other industry, the need for a connected intelligence platforms becomes really important.
So you guys recently, Webex highlighted AI routing, translator agent, and AI forecasting and scheduling. Now, which of these capabilities is the clearest example of AI moving from a demo to, as you said, real world?
I'd say almost all, but let me take maybe a couple of examples. So the first is we spoke a lot about AI quality management. So you have now AI agents and human agents working as equal stakeholders in the contact center. And the quality management is done often by AI for 100% of the conversations with a human in the loop. So the supervisor in this case for AI and human agents is AI. So that's clear, that's tangible, deployed, and customers are seeing the benefit of it. Same with AI routing, because oftentimes in the contact center, routing decisions are made on very simple terms: skills, availability, attributes, what have you. But AI is telling you what call types, what caller types, when paired with what matching and pairing, yield better outcomes. And to use that information on a real-time basis to do better routing, better matching, better outcomes has just insane amount of value delivery that can be done there. I mean, I could do the same for almost any other feature that we announced, but know that there are features that are GA, obviously customers have it, but even features that we're building that we think are like at the vanguard of innovation, we build them with design partners, which means no product is ever built without the customer in the room.
We were discussing just before we started our podcast, our readers have been fascinated by the issue of compliance all year long.
Yeah.
We put compliance on any topic and everyone's there. So help me understand the importance of compliance, latency, data residency, call quality, now part of the AI contact center conversation.
Geez, that's a lot to cover, but let me
I
start.
know.
Let me start one by one. I've always said this: nowhere is the opportunity of unlocking value with AI more than it is in customer experience, and yet nowhere is the liability potentially higher. So we say, autonomy without accountability is a liability, which means as you look at the opportunity with AI, we should absolutely pursue it. But the point around observability, security, manageability sort of walk hand in hand with that. So let's start with just that. So as we said, we have vertically integrated AI defense into AI Agent 360. That's our big announcement, wherein the ability to upload your policy documentation and create custom guardrail for multi-turn, highly context-aware conversations is now enmeshed in the platform itself. We are soon expanding that to active red teaming, your MCP server scanning, your knowledge base scanning, real-time performance monitoring, and also calibration, which is how do you take the telemetry coming out of the interactions to make your AI agents performance better. So the ability to bring together performance, technical, the security, the observability of this infrastructure itself, and then the ability to apply them to the performance of the agent, all are part of the same spectrum. So if you're building AI agents that work with customers, you either do all of them or your AI agent is not enterprise grade. So that really brings to home the point I made, which is I find it inconceivable for anyone to be a CX AI sort of applications company if you're not a full-time observability and a security company, because it's never been easier in history to build an AI agent. It's the easiest thing to do. It's never been harder to make it enterprise grade. So my parting line on this topic would essentially be that, in 2026, if you're having a conversation around building AI agents and securing, monitoring, observing them in different rooms, you're either in the wrong room or you're in the wrong ear. These are one continuous conversation. And that's why we feel so proud about our portfolio coming together to deliver sort of one cohesive solution on this front.
I'm so glad you brought up the started tapping on the topic of integration, because one of the things I want to know is, as AI and AI agents become more and more part of the contact center, I'm kind of wondering how all that will work, how AI basically will connect with the pre-existing CRM systems, because I think some of these systems they were definitely not designed to work together.
So I think I said this somewhere else. I think integratability is like 1990s. We are in the age of interoperability. And what I mean by that is, obviously, we work closely with the CRMs, as we've announced publicly, our relationship with Salesforce, our relationship with ServiceNow, our Epic connectors. So we make sure that all these important mission critical systems of record, we connect with them in native interfaces so that the interoperability is the best. But we've made a massive embrace of tools like MCP and A2A, because when we talk about interoperability, wherein these systems are communicating with each other, where we are able to orchestrate, coordinate the actions of multiple sub-agents, first and third party, you need protocols like MCP to make that happen. That's why while we are looking at, we call this the Agentic Interoperability Hub, where you've got an MCP library of first and third party agents that you can communicate with, coordinate, and orchestrate. But we're also bringing tools like the MCP scan or the MCP gateway or the LLM gateway at the same time. So you're balancing the opportunity of this interoperability along with the security that needs to go sort of hand in hand.
As we close up our short podcast today, we reach a significant community of Cisco partners, MSPs, resellers, and so on. A lot of people in that world. Can you help us understand what we're discussing today impacts them? Is there really an opportunity that's actionable, especially with the migration that you're discussing?
So this is in the age of AI where we are talking about all the opportunity and all the technology. I think the primary requisite to buy, sell, consume, make AI successful actually is the most human attribute, which is trust. And I feel Cisco has the privilege of having worked with a lot of these companies for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And so do our partners and our channel partners have been. So I feel the first thing we owe our customers is not to sell product, but to sell trust. Be real and objective with what we are giving them. Because for me, the inversion of SaaS with AI is it's now service as a software, because AI is not a product. It's probably the greatest tool ever created. You morph it into shapes and forms which become products for the customers, because this AI superpower meets customer data, customer context, customer prompts, customer guardrails, and becomes the customer's product. And you can imagine this does not magically happen at the press of a button. You need incredible partners, incredible service providers, or this community to come together. But it only comes together if we make the right commitments to our customers. We show them a roadmap, give them bite-sized, like highly ROI measurable milestones that they can consume, so they see the impact of the investments they're making in AI. Then honestly, the opportunity scape is infinite. But we can't sell AI like we sold software, which was massive chunks of it, wherein the customer already knew what they want to do with it. We need to recognize that we're both going to learn as AI meets the customer's context. And so the better the partner we are, the more trust we are able to establish and more realistic our goals are. Even though the North Star may be spectacular, I think we will jointly see more success in making AI work for our customers.
I really want to thank you for joining me today. Thanks for taking time out on a very busy day here at Cisco Live 2026.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much for your time.